Good morning, student. Myself Subodh sir, and teacher, history class for standard 7. In this video, we will discuss little more about the Delhi Sultans. In the previous video, we had already discussed about the dynasties of the Delhi Sultans and the important rulers. We have also told you why this dynasty or dynasties which ruled from 1206 to 1526 as the Delhi Sultans. They were called the Delhi Sultans because most of the rulers ruled from the Delhi itself. They were ruling from the Delhi. Delhi was as their capital, so it was called the Delhi Sultan. Second last Lodi ruler, Sikandar Lodi, had constructed the city of Agra. Then their capital shifted to Agra, and from there Sikandar Lodi, then Ibrahim Lodi, the last ruler of Delhi dynasties, Delhi Sultans. Then it was the rule of the Mughals, because Mughals was only one, comprising of only one dynasty, so we don't give the name of another Delhi Sultan or the Agra Sultans. They were simply the Mughals, so they were called the Mughals. It was the Mughals. Shah Jahan returned to Delhi when he made the Red Fort in Delhi. Before it, they were basically ruling from the Agra. Akbar had made his capital at Fatehpur Sikri, that we will be discussing in the later. In this video, we are discussing regarding the Delhi Sultans. The founder of Delhi Sultan, we have gone through it. He was the Qutbuddin Aibak, or we can say he was made the ruler of India by the Muhammad Ghori. The first ruler of Delhi Sultan was Qutbuddin Aibak. He was from the slave. He was himself a slave. So his dynasty was called the slave dynasties. The Delhi Sultans were confined to their garrison towns, fortified military cantonment, fortified area. They never tried to capture the hinterland. Why they don't want to capture the hinterland? Because they had to face many problems. Hinterland was the area or land adjacent to the city or the port, from which the supply of goods and services were maintained to the rulers. Being the Delhi at the center, it was also on the trade route, so there was a frequent attack of the foreign invasions. And controlling the far areas, it was difficult to control because there was no any developed transport system, and roadways was also not developed. And in the terrain area, in the so remote area where access was difficult, so controlling was difficult. So they were confined to their territory. In the first chapter, we have read how the meaning of the term Hindustan changed. In that one, we have discussed that earlier it was known as the Punjab, Haryana and land between Ganga and Yamuna. Only this was called as the Delhi Sultanate. As the area under Delhi Sultan increased, the term Hindustan also increased, that we have read it. This expansion took place during the period of Alauddin Khalji and Ghiyasuddin and Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Till Tughlaq, Alauddin Khalji, he was the ruler of Khalji dynasty. The two important rulers, Jalaluddin Khalji, then his nephew and daughter-in-law Alauddin Khalji. become the ruler. And after the Alauddin Khilji, only a very weak rulers were there, was simply uprooted by the Tughlaq dynasty. First ruler Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, then Muhammad bin Tughlaq, then last was Firoz Shah. Here we will talking about from the Alauddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji to Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Alauddin Khilji to Muhammad bin Tughlaq. These were the main. Under these two rulers, the Delhi Sultanate extended to its further extension. बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ा था. If you see the map in your book, you will find how the Delhi Sultans were increasing their territory. Now, the question comes: what were the methods that were used to increase the territory? And if they are increasing the territory, to whom they would make their in charge or the rulers? The slave used to be more faithful. He was loyal to the patrons because the slave is being purchased. One word comes after the slave. We also say client. Client were the dependent. Simply, they were the dependent on the patrons. It means these two, when we are talking about the clients, it means simply they were faithful and giving all the things to the patrons but not to the heirs. Later on, these peoples also revolted when their patron died. But at the times, it was right for the point of view of the rulers to appoint a subordinate or a governor of a state. Why they required the governor of the state? Because the state increased. And what are the different methods of increasing the state area? We can confine it into the two expansion. One was internal expansion and second was expansion. Internal expansion and the external expansion. What these two words mean, the internal as well as the external expansion. In the internal expansions, the forests were cleared because the area where the Delhi Sultans had started ruling Punjab, Haryana and the land between Ganga and Yamuna, it was the marshy area and it was developed of the forest, dense forest were there. So forests were cleared. And if they are the forest, it means they are pastoralists or nomadic peoples were living it. Animals रखने वाले and tribal peoples were living it. It means these peoples were excluded or they were allowed to go back anyways, means freedom. These areas were converted, it means the forest land was converted into the agricultural land. And how they were able to expand the agricultural land? Simply by cutting down the forest, and the forest land was being converted into the agricultural land. And it was handed over to the peasants. Peasants were using it for the cultivation of grains. And why it was important? because the rulers were charging or collecting the tax from the agricultural produce, and that produce, that taxes was used to maintain the big army as well as this type of other development work, construction of roadways, construction of industries and etc. Construction of even the forts also. So these grains or these taxes were being collected for this purpose. We have seen that Alauddin Khalji has increased the taxes up to 50% in the Ganga Yamuna Doab. How much? It increased to 50%. But generally it remained the one third of the total food produced, it was the 33%. Generally it was one third, but Alauddin Khalji had increased it to the 50% because Alauddin Khalji had to maintain a big standing army. This was the same thing with the Muhammad bin Tughlaq also. We will compare these two rulers. Muhammad bin Tughlaq also increased the taxes in the Ganga, Yamuna, Doab, but at that time people had resisted, they left the cultivation. But in the case, it did not happen. Alauddin Khalji was so dreaded rulers, even the two peoples in the wilderness were not daring to talk about the Khalji. कहीं एकदम सुनसान इलाके में है जहां कोई नहीं है, फिर भी दो आदमी खलजी के विषय में, अलाउद्दीन खलजी के विषय में बात नहीं कर पा रहे थे। क्यों नहीं करते थे? उनको लगता था कि मैसेज अगर किसी तरह हो सकता है चला जाए, कैसे चला जाएगा, सिंस देयर वाज नो वन बट स्टिल दे वर अफ्रेड कि मैसेज चला जाएगा तो दे विल गिवन द पनिशमेंट एंड दैट इज द डेथ पनिशमेंट। ही वाज सो क्रूएल रूलर्स। We will talk about his policies also. So internal expansion. In internal expansions we have seen the forests were cleared and forest land was converted into the agricultural land and it was given to the peasants for the cultivation of the crops, and the rulers were collecting the taxes. It means the taxes, amount of taxes were increasing. When we talk about the external expansion simply means to the military expedition in the South India. Because geographically the South India was quite different from the North India. So military expedition in the South India, it was considered as the external expansion. So we have gone through the two types of expansion. One was the internal expansion, another one was the external expansion. These internal and external expansion lead the expansion of Delhi sultans of Delhi empires, and it raised to the furthermost maximum expansion took place during the period of Alauddin Khalji and Muhammad bin Tughlaq. सबसे ज़्यादा expansion, it means farthest expansion had taken place during the period of Khalji and Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Means started Khalji, Muhammad bin Tughlaq a little bit increased, stagnant, and then after defined it started decreasing. Means farthest extension during the period of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. खलजी मैक्सिमम ले गया था, लेकिन जो थोड़ा बहुत बचा मैक्सिमम पर लेके कौन आ गया था? मोहम्मद बिन तुगलक. आफ्टर दैट the area under the Delhi Sultan did not increase, either it remained stagnant or it started decreasing. If they have captured so much area, even the Pakistan where part of is there, even today's Bangladesh, if they are capturing so much big area, means they have reached to the farthest extension in the South India also, then control from the one place, that is the center. It was difficult to control this place and this place. There was no any type of communications. People were using the horse to go there, so the people were forced to appoint a governor of the area of the locality. These governors were called the Iqtidar or Muftis. Also, this area can be written that was controlled, and area can be known as Iqtidar, and the person who were holding it came to be known as the Iqtidar or Mufti. These people were responsible for the maintaining the peace in their areas. Ruler is here. And in this area, who were responsible? These peoples were responsible, these Iqtidar or Muftis were responsible to maintain the peace and order in this locality. They were also allowed to serve the military purpose for the rulers. Suppose the rulers had advanced, they wanted to reign over here in this area. And due to some reasons, they failed to bring the army. They required the assistance of the army. So nearby Iqtidar could provide them. So it means the Mufti or the Iqtidar had to keep a big army, a prescribed amount of army. For this purpose, the salary and the maintenance of the army, they were being given the areas which these Iqtidars, they had to pay the taxes, and they were confined a little bit area from the taxes that were being collected. That taxes were used to maintain the army and their salary. It is not necessary they were collecting all from it. It means if they are collecting all the taxes and keeping for themselves, then the rulers were not getting anything. They were getting a small area whose taxes were almost equal to the salary of the Iqtidar as well as the salary of the maintaining salary and maintaining of the soldiers that they were keeping it. How much soldiers they would keep it? It was determined by the ruler itself, because sometimes in the collection of taxes they require the forces that they are keeping it, and also to assist the rulers when the rulers require or need it. That's why they are keeping the force. Since it was a very big one, how to control it? It was to control that the accountants were appointed, means the ledger were being checked, how much income is there, how much expenses is there. The accountants were appointed to check their accounts. At the same time, after the accountants, they were also being checked, are they collecting the prescribed amount of taxes or not. Prescribed, it means whatever their rulers had told, if it is the 33%, it should be 33%, not more than that one. Because if they are collecting, they may become more wealthier. Later on we will talk that they started collected more than the prescribed. The first one, accountants were kept. They were also supervising that they are collecting only the prescribed revenue, and thirds, they are keeping only the fixed amount of soldiers they were given to them to keep it, not more than that. If they are keeping more soldiers, then they would become more powerful. More soldiers, more powerful. More revenue, then they would defy the order of the rulers. It happened in the last phase when we find it, they started defying themselves, defying the order of the sultans, because they captured, they acquired more wealth and more army. Also to make, because they do not do any corruptions. The horses were branded, because if they have been given to keep the 500 horses. Which horses? The best quality. The best quality horses, the prices of the best quality horses were the higher. So it might be possible they are not keeping the 500, the best quality of horses and the horsemen, and instead of they are keeping only 50 or 100 horses, and they are showing it if one soldier is keeping the horse going there. In the same way, the 100 are coming, and the first one that have gone, it will come as the 101. It was difficult to identify the same thing happening or not. The accountants were mentioning that, oh, okay, he has been given the 500, we have got the 500 horses. But conditions coming when the rulers require the soldiers and they are able to provide only the 100 soldiers, what will happen? That's why a vigilance check was kept on it. And horse were branded. Horse were branded means the horse were kept a signification symbol on their body. Means descriptions of horses were kept. Their color, any mark that has been kept by the ruler for an identification for a particular soldiers, and it was mentioned against the name of that soldiers. So horses were branded. All things were happening to control the muktis. Muktis were serving in their locality itself, they are not being transferred to another place. You have to keep in mind. Muktis were serving only in these areas and they were not being transferred to another place. Later on we will talk, when we will talking and discussing regarding the Mughals. The Manasmadar had the same, but they were not serving in their mansab itself. They were being transferred to other places, and their servants were allowed to collect the revenue in their behalf. So this is a basic difference that we are finding. Here the name is Mukti. There in the next chapter when we are talking about the Mughals, its name would be Manasmadar. So Manasmadar were kept and to keep a big army. Why? The Alauddin Khaljis were forced to keep a very big army. Alauddin Khalji was forced to keep a big army because he has a threat of the Mongol invasions. He made a garrison town at the northwestern frontiers to check the invasion of the Mongols. He had increased the land revenue to the 50%. In the land revenue, when the Alauddin Khalji had increased the land revenue, people had supported it, people had given their verdict, and it was successful. When we are talking about the Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he had 3 policies and all the 3 policies were failed. The first policy that we talk about, the increasing the land revenue like the Alauddin Khalji, he also had the big standing army, and to maintain the big standing army he required more and more revenue, and to acquire the more and more revenue he had to increase the land revenue. He increased the land revenue in the Ganga Yamuna Dwar. In hoping to get the more land revenue which would be helpful for the maintaining the army, but it failed. People left the agricultural practice. So there was no agriculture, so no land revenue. So his first policy had failed. Second policy, he tried to shift his capital from Delhi to Daulatabad over here in Maharashtra. Delhi to Daulatabad or Devgiri, it was a Devgiri whose name he changed as the Daulatabad. Also, because to protect his capital from the direct invasions of the Mongols were attacking it directly. There are more warrior groups, they are looting and just plundering it. So separate. He made a very splendid fort. People went there, but they did not like to reside there. Then they have to come back again to the Delhi. It means that his policy that he was thinking of the shifting of the capital, it simply failed. Then we have given our identification and idea that he had introduced a token currency. Today we are using the token currency. He used the token currency and giving the value of the copper coin equivalent to the value of the gold coin. He used the copper coin as the symbolic form or token currency because the gold were less and it was precious at that time, so was not easily found. So he used a token currency. What happens? In each houses of the city, it converted into the minting house. They started minting the copper coins and exchanging it from the ruler's treasury. And what later on found? It was found that the ruler's treasury become empty. And it was full with the copper coins. It means whatever policy that the Muhammad bin Tughlaq had introduced, it all failed. But the policy that was introduced by the Alauddin Khalji, it was the successful. Now, in the next video, we would discuss about the administration of Alauddin Khalji and the Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Thank you.